Oh, I forgot to mention, Vasko is a graduate of PTSS 097, way back.
Thank you. So, dear colleagues, I will give you a presentation about the experience of the Republic of Macedonia, but also the broader Western Balkan region, because we share the same challenges. There is a lot of interconnection of the radical structures, as well as I will share some best practices I'll pick up from the different countries. I hope my colleagues from my neighbor country don't mind. The idea is to share the best examples, the best practices, how to deal this joint threat. So, when the Islamic State, so-called Daesh, published the picture of the global caliphate, there was a lot of attention, panic, and fear among our region. But the idea of the caliphate was not new to the Balkans, because in the past years, dozens of Salafi leaders, they dreamed about the Balkan Emirate. So, in the name of that ideology, they inspired young people and recruited them to fight in Syria. The most well-known group is the group of Nusret Imamovic in Bosnia, represented by different leaders, for example, Idris Bilibani in Kosovo, Izet Hadžić Zara in Bosnia, Bilal Bosnić in Bosnia, Abed Podbićan in the region of Sanjak in Serbia. So this group was very active in the diaspora, in Luxembourg, Slovenia, Austria, Germany. And with the shift and the disputes among the Jabhat al-Nusra and Islamic State, this shift reflected also in our region. So we faced disputes, conflicts, debates on the social media, ideological debates, which is the right path, whether to follow Jabhat al-Nusra or to follow Islamic State. So this group splitted. Abed Podbićan and Bilal Bosnić remained with Islamic State, and Nusret Imamovic, Idris Bilibani and Izet Hadžić Zara, they followed to the Jabhat al-Nusra. And we have independently two main representatives of the Islamic State, Recep Emishi from Macedonia, which is currently in custody, and Zekirije Kezimi in the region of Gnjilane in Kosovo. These are the main recruiters in our region. So I will give you here one tip in intelligence matter. If you want to collect information, approach to the adherents of the Jabhat al-Nusra to collect intelligence on Islamic State adherents, and do the opposite. So, a few years ago, Syria was only one of the many Middle Eastern countries far away from the Republic of Macedonia and the region, without much in common. But now, there is a lot of interconnection. So what we got from the Balkans to the Syria? First, we have foreign fighters, still going there, willing to go there to fight, besides undertaking measures. Then we have the phenomenon of hijra, women, children, all the families going there to live, soldiers, fighters coming back to our countries just to get married and go back there to live in the caliphate. We have various types of logistics support. For example, in the past they sent military equipment, rent-a-car, vans, just bring back to the Turkey-Syria border to give in the terrorist groups. Various forms of military equipment, weapons, and as well we have various types of verbal or internet support. What we have in return? We have propaganda toward our region in various video messages, stories. Then we have intelligence gathering, because fighters there and leaders of the group are very well informed what is going on in the region, about the religious structure, political structure, and especially what the security services are doing. Also, in the recent months, we have growing threats and spreading fear among our citizens on different ways. And we have a phenomenon of bringing money, probably from some robberies, and they're bringing money to maybe to change in other currency and to buy equipment back to Syria. So these are some of the numbers. Don't take them for sure, just an illustration what's going on and what kind of the phenomenon is that. You can see children, women, percentage of killed and left. So just to have a picture. So what are the Balkan foreign fighters? In general, we can divide them in three groups. First one, those who want just to go there to experience the caliphate, to feel the atmosphere there, how the life is going there. The second group is suicide bombers. They go there and they are selected to commit a suicide attack, and we already have people from our region that committed suicide attacks. The third group are so-called mujahideen, the classic fighters. They go there, engage in the combats. This could not finish just in Syria, but to go elsewhere where they need to fight. Below you can see the faces of the three most known Balkan fighters. Bekin Fedani from Gostivar, Macedonia, Ridvan Hakifi from Gnilane, Kosovo, Imam, and Lavdar Muhadjeri from Kačanik, Kosovo. This footage was part of a video where they destroyed their passports, wanted to show that here we are one, no nations, no ethnic backgrounds. We want to stay there and we will die here if it's necessary. So Lavdar Muhadjeri is the most known figure because he appeared in many videos. He killed in life, in propaganda videos. He cut a throat to a boy. He killed a man with bazooka. He promoted the dinner. And he's one of the most wanted men in the region. What is the profile of a foreign fighter? Is there a matrix to follow? Or is there some exceptions or rules? I will present you two maybe case studies or examples. The first one is of Albanian origin, Jela Makova, which represent most of the Albanian background fighters, which are from the poor family, primarily not well educated, with some criminal background, contacts with Imam. They went to Syria, he was killed, and they engaged in recruitment activities. From the other side, we have Stefan Stefanovski, so-called Sufian, Macedonian Orthodox convert from well-standing family, in nice neighborhood in Skopje. He graduated medicine, and he went in Syria to help Islamic State in their hospitals. What they have in common? Radical ideology, a recruiter or inspirator, as Recep Mishi, places, these two mosques, for example, which were outside this official Islamic community, and internet activity. Recruitment of women is another phenomenon we faced. These are examples in Kosovo and Macedonia. As you can see, very young girls who became interested in religion via internet get in touch with a recruiter through the internet. In the first case, these two little girls tried to reach Syria via Macedonia, where they were intercepted. But in the second case, the girl from Macedonia managed to left. As you can see, she received money online for the trip. She was recruited through the internet, and her father reported the case to the police in order to be located. But unfortunately, she's somewhere in Iraq. On the picture you can see is an example in Bosnia, how through Facebook, a woman tries to recruit young girls in order to get married for some of the fighters. So you can see the role of the internet. This is something that is going on in the region. So, what is the threat from the foreign fighters? Let's start with this famous video, Honoris in Jihad video. When published by Al Hayat Media Center. When this video appeared, it gets so much publicity across the Balkan countries. So why this video is so important? First, it represents the first direct threat to the Balkans and illustrates the focus to the region, since previously there were no such manifestations. Second, it's very professional done propaganda video recorded in December last year, but released in June. It showed the importance of the Balkans for the Islamic State as a frontier of the Islam, Balkan wars, suffering of the Muslims. And third, it tends to show that Balkan fighters there are as one. Here, there are soldiers from Bosnia, Kosovo, Serbia, Albania, and Montenegro. This video also sent three strategic messages. First, by Mirza Haklaj. He was killed from Montenegro, and he was killed. He called to Hijra. Come to taste the faith freely, to practice the religion, since there is an oppression in the Balkan countries. So, don't let the dirty Tavik arrest you, humiliate you, break in your houses in the middle of the night, finding your wives uncovered. Brothers, fear Allah. The call of the Caliph is something you must answer. Dear brothers, come to taste the sweetness of faith. The second message is the threat, which we could divide it by the message of this young boy from Bosnia, Abu Muhammad el-Bosni, who refers to the Bosnian-speaking community in Bosnia, Montenegro, and Serbia. And he's saying, come to fill the caliphate here, and you can practice your religion. But if you cannot come here, do jihad there in your domestic countries. Put explosive, put poison. So kill civilians. They focus on the civilian targets. The second message is also similar by Ridvan Hakifi, Afo Mukadil Al-Kosovi, who also referred to the Albanian-speaking community. And he refers to Macedonia, Kosovo, and Albania. He said, do not think that we have forgotten about how you oppressed the Muslims. By Allah, black days are coming to you. You will fear to walk in the streets. You will be terrorized and feel repressed even in your homes. We will put you and terrorize you even in your dreams when you're asleep. We will kill you with the permission of Allah. We will come to you with explosive belts, with martyrdom operations, with an army. This will happen very soon. There was immediately a second video where our Islamic State Qasida also directed threats to the Balkan countries. And you can see they focus on particular Balkan countries and put us as targets in these like sniper style footages. Another examples, so besides the videos, we have also this kind of messages, threats through the social media, Facebook. The first one is from a man called Abu Bakr al-Albani, again in June this year, so the same period of the videos. So you can see the narration, the message. They focus on the neighbors of the Albanian people. Soon the attack in the region will be coordinated, parallel, and spectacular. They refer to Prime Minister of Macedonia, Gruevski, but also another Albanian politicians. The second message was published after the police action in Macedonia called Cell against the foreign fighters. And here you can see narration with ethnic element, so they refer to Slavs, but also crusaders, in aim to inspire how you can sleep when your brothers or sisters are terrorized. Do something there, react. So there was some reaction that, okay, other countries receives video messages, Macedonia receives Facebook, but also this shows that behind these messages we have radical individuals that are willing to do something. So this is particular case, my colleagues from Kosovo are very familiar. This case showed that Republic of Macedonia and the region started to live with the terrorism threat. Bekim Fidani from Macedonia and Lavdar Muhajeri, the experts in diversion, in explosives, in strategy. Bekim Fidani, during his contacts with his friends, he announced that there is a plan to attack civilians, regardless of their religious origin. So, to kill as much possible civilians, whether they are Christians or Muslims. The attacks are supposed to be in Skopje, Macedonia, and Pristina, Kosovo, so the capitals. And after the announcement of the Kosovo police, there was arrestments in the Badovac Lake, where there is a provide water supply for some towns. There were information that also poison is found, and argumentation what amount of the poison is necessary to conduct such attack. But anyway, we have willingness to conduct such attacks. So the mentioned Bekim Fidani and Lavdar Muhajeri, as well the message, this is the example of the message of the Kosovo police. There was circulated among all the police stations, alarming about the threat and provide some countermeasures. So this case also shows the importance we need to cooperate in terms of intelligence sharing among the countries and among the services. Because we face the same threat, we must cooperate and share information. So, as you can see, soft targets, civilians. Also, Mevrit Jasharevic from Bosnia, in his video, he also announced, let's kill civilians, let's poison their water and food. When we speak about the terrorist threat in the Balkans, we must consider the context. Referring to the Balkans, we used to say that it's a powder keg, ready to explode in any moment, considering the experience from the past, wars, conflicts. But unfortunately, Balkans is still not a stable region. In every country, there are still present ethnic, religious, political, social tensions that will be easily exploited by extremists. For example, when this picture in Bosnia appeared, with the Islamic State flag. Immediately you have reactions from the Serbian community and the Republic of Srpska as a threat to the Serbian community in terms of their ethnicity. Also, if you have a graffiti in Dečani monastery in Kosovo, you immediately have reaction from the Serbian minority. So that shows the fragility of the region. The example with the football game Serbia-Albania, at the flag with the drone and the chain reactions, also showing how sensitive the ethnic problems still are. In Macedonia, we have several incidents involving both ethnic and religious elements. So you should bear in mind that in Balkans, we have overlapping identities, religious and ethnic. So it's very easily religious to move into the ethnic and transform the ethnic conflict into religious and opposite. So when Macedonians want to insult Albanians, they refer to the Orthodox religion. When Albanians want to protect their identity, they are calling to their religion. So there is a warning that the Islamic State could easily exploit this situation. As I said, we had many incidents in the past years in Macedonia involving the religious element. Recently, we have a reaction of the Macedonians not to build a mosque in a town in Eastern Macedonia. So after the protest, there was attack of a masjid. So can you imagine this picture to be perceived in some radicals, how they will respond on that? So what was the response to the foreign fighters phenomenon and to the threat? As I said, since the countries of the region share the same problem, the first response of them was to change the laws and to make participation in foreign conflict army punishable. So Macedonia accepted the changes in the criminal code in the last September. As you can see, they aim to punish organizers, trainers, participants, and also foreign fighters in various formations. Also, they target the financial aspects. And this is my favorite, those who try to send radicalization messages. In Kosovo, they have lex specialis, a special law. So no changes in the existing law, but a special law. But other Balkan countries also involved some changes, and that was perceived as a precondition for the police actions. But in Kosovo, there were several police actions without these laws to be adopted. So the existing law basis could be used, because in every criminal code you have provoking religious and ethnic hate, and that could be also used. But before to press this button of the justice, we need evidence. So this is new experience to the judiciary system, a new practice, so public prosecutor still doesn't know how to act. There are different arguments to be accepted as evidence. For example, if they found pictures in the cell phone in other men, they could not be used. There could be your private cell phone. So in different countries, there are different practice. So as I said, that was precondition for the police action. Albania was the first country in March last year, Kosovo in August last year and in September, in Bosnia in September last year and in February this year, also in May. So we missed Macedonia into the club, and it was turned to Macedonia to do the action. So the main target was the recruiter, the ideology, Recep Mimici, the two mosques, which were outside the official Islamic community, places of gathering, Islamic humanitarian organization, internet cafe. But according to me, this action was not fully successful because, okay, Recep Mimici was arrested, but still many people are at large. And as I said, we were afraid, that's why maybe we were late with the action, not to provoke ethnic reactions. But in that way, media reported the case of Stefan as Macedonian, who also is a foreign fighter. There are also Turks, other ethnic groups. So it showed that Macedonia stay united against terrorism and extremism. So let's make an overview about the countermeasures, positive and negative aspects. From one side, we have fear and conspiracy, but they are also now aware and afraid of the government measures, and they keep a low profile. But in the same time, they feel anger and make threats to the authorities because of the changes of laws and police actions. We have now maybe low radicalization and recruitment level, but because they need to hide and escape from the services. But from the other side, that became a problem, services to monitor their activities. Changes in the laws means that we have finally a legal mechanism to counter this phenomenon, but it's still a problem how to obtain evidence and how this evidence could be accepted by public prosecutors and in front of the courts. Countermeasures provoked a dilemma for potential fighters, whether to stay and face the sanctions or whether to leave. In some countries, there were preventive effect. In other countries, they forced them to leave. Actually, they start to feel the pressure from the services and decided to leave for Syria. They cannot stand the pressure. In the same time, there is another pressure in Syria too, because of the intervention campaign by United States, Russia, recently France, Arab countries too as a part of the coalition. Arab troops, Assad troops, are also on offensive. Besides that, some of them are already disappointed and wanted to leave. And we have a man from Albania, he was killed by Islamic State just because he wanted to leave. So, on one way or another, the paradise called caliphate could disappear, whether on ground or in their minds. So what to do? If they return in their domicile countries, they will face justice. At this moment, there is no exit strategy or alternative in terms of some kind of amnesty or a program, since there is a consensus that they could face justice. And as we witness Islamic State defeated on ground, this dilemma will be more and more actual. So concluding on the countermeasures, I will quote a statement by Arieta Heta from Kosovo, whose brother Blerim Heta was the first suicide bomber. In the media, she said, he didn't buy him a ticket to Syria, but he took him to places where they said jihad was a good idea. He, recruiters, places of gatherings, lectures, and third, jihad is a good idea, the ideology. So far, for my presentation, I didn't see measures which were aimed at ideology. Most of the measures were aimed at recruiters, facilitators, places. But what about the ideology? What about jihad is a good idea? I saw a picture recently regarding the Paris attacks. The picture was, don't pray for Paris, fight the hateful religious ideology. So this is my proposal how to fight the ideology. Use the program of Al-Qaeda 39 Principles of Holy War by Mohammed bin Ahmed al-Salem. So just do the opposite. Preparing and urging the might of jihad, preventing the might of jihad, praising the mujahideen, condemning the mujahideen, encouraging the mujahideen, discouraging the mujahideen. So you just do the opposite of their program, of their strategy. So this strategy is aimed at the youth to contaminate their mind and indoctrinate them at the most early stages of their life. These are the real pictures of young children from Bosnia and Kosovo which are currently in Syria. These children already have their childhood destroyed, and this could and should awake us. Do you think that in our countries there is some kind of strategy measures how to deal with these children? I don't think so. So religious community, their silence is not an option. All these past years, they remained silent because this was their religious problem, and religion was misused. This is we have rare statements of the Balkan religious leaders. This is the statement of the Macedonian leader Suleiman Efendi Recepi, and you can see small but strong messages, how counter-narration. There is no Shahid, Islamic State is a terrorist organization, and if jihad is when you fight for your fatherland, Macedonia. The second example is the reaction of the Islamic community in the aftermath of the Macedonian police action. So it's very good when you have Islamic community supporting such kind of police actions. And you can see very strong messages. We have no compromise regarding violence. We will always treat this as pestilence. We want legal state to work on eliminating extremism and violence. All international bodies to see Islamic community as a real ally in this urgent matter. So we need more and more such statements. And we have a project within the Islamic community. Unfortunately, it didn't realize. Promoted last December, very well a project But you can see they have provided various actions to counter the ideology, to provide help to the families, to provide help and alternative to the fighters. They searched help from the international factor. For example, here they present the project to the French and Israeli ambassador. And I like this sentence into the project. This project to contribute to peace in the country, the region, and the world. So even such kind of project in one country could promote and contribute to the peace in the world. This is an example I pick up from Bosnia. An example how the representatives of the Islamic community could fight extremism by their own, on the local level. So the Imam Sefedin Beganovic engaged in a debate on social media, but unfortunately he didn't succeed. He was attacked by extremists. Also, he was supported by local citizens, which is also a good example of the engagement of the local community. In Kosovo, we also have a local hero in the name of the Imam Musli Verbani in Kačanik. He was also attacked several times from the extremists because he spoke against extremism. And there was, despite whether there is a problem of there is a debate whether this is a problem of the state or to the religious community. Macedonian religious community asked the Minister of Interior to intervene in the seized mosques, but they didn't agree who the problem is. I will say this is our common problem. The role of the family. So far we had different situations. At the beginning, the parents didn't speak against their children. In some occasions, when they died, they were sad, but stated in the media that their sons died believing in what they were doing. In other cases, like the family of Blair in Heta, they openly spoke about the radicalization process and openly blamed radical imams in Macedonia. In the case of the little girl from Kumanovo I mentioned, which left from Syria, her father spoke to the police, but not to the public. Opposite, the parents of Bisera Gerasimovska, Macedonian origin girl recruited in Belgium, they spoke in public about how their daughter got radicalized. So the family is on the front lines, because could detect change in behavior, inform the police about the suspicious activities, and be witness at courts, and spread their story in order to alarm other parents and show the problem. So this is the example in Bosnia, where the father of the died foreign fighter spoke how his son was radicalized, and he also became a witness in front of the court cases against this radical imam who has been recently sentenced for 7 years in prison several days ago for incitement, recruitment, and organizing travels to Syria. I didn't include example of the NGO because unfortunately, no such example of the role of the NGO in our region. The media could also have their part of the fight. So these are the three useful examples. The first one is from Kosovo, the Foltash website, which was recently launched by Imam Bekim Yashari. And through this website, he tries to explain about the religious ideological issues, and he published various activities regarding this phenomena, conferences, other topics, but also sports, for example. The second example is from also Kosovo. I use many examples from Kosovo because Kosovo is an example how to fight extremism. The second example is the investigative journalism of the Gazeta Express. In the past several years, this newspaper published a lot of stories, a lot of investigative journalism about the spreading of the radicalism. And he also received threats, and also we have examples of threats against journalists in Albania also and in Bosnia. So that is proof that they're doing a good job. And the third is through the headlines. So with specific headlines, they could discourage to go to Syria. Similarly with the two girls in Bosnian background from Austria that went recruited. So no Nutella, no happiness, just fear and sorrow and disappointment. Here also I read a news about Kadir from Erbil, Iraq. He as a refugee, he went to Germany and he was disappointed. He said, I expected Europe to be in different way. I'm going back to Iraq. It's better to live there. So also you can apply in different situations. And it's good to work the media with the police, also maybe Marshall Center to organize some training for the media, how properly to understand this problem. So the most important, according to me, the religious tolerance and dialogue. So after the recent attacks in Paris, President Obama spoke about values which were attacked. So these are our values. Because the ideology of the Islamic State is indeed against the civilization values, so we should promote them in a multi-religious and multi-ethnic society such as Macedonia. And this is very important also for the internal stability and to prevent radicalization. Cooperation among the religious leaders is crucial. We shall admit that we lack cooperation, and more often there are more disputes than cooperation. But when they sit together, it's much easier, much different, and they send messages to the followers. Celebrating religious holidays together is another way to spread a message of tolerance and unity. This is an example of the city of Strumica in Macedonia. They made iftar when people of different religion could sit together. Also, Macedonian government organizes iftar during Ramadan. And we have also a good example in Macedonia in the city of Debar, which is multi-ethnic town, an example of tolerance, where the long tradition of the mufti and the Orthodox priest, they celebrate both holidays together. And this story is on all the media. So we have only very rare examples, but we should promote and spread them. The next example is from the propaganda video, which is called the 10 meters separated, a day for a joint prayer. And this shows the prayer among the Christians and Muslims in Macedonia, because we live so close, and this propaganda video won a Titanium Lion award at the Cannes Festival. Also, we have World Conference of Tolerance and Peace. 3 minutes. Okay. So we should put these religious leaders together to fight extremism. And such examples, we should promote them properly. In Bosnia, we have example of the Hussein Kavazovic congratulation Easter, in Kosovo also, in other countries. So, the problem will remain. We need to acknowledge and face it. Terrorism threat is growing, strengthen countermeasures. Legal measures are not sufficient because the ideology is the problem. Evidence at the prosecutor court, we need constant learning, constant improvement. It's a regional problem, and we need to cooperate. Also, there was the idea of cooperation of the Islamic communities in the region. It's a complex problem, and we need a comprehensive strategy. Unfortunately, in Macedonia, we still write the strategy. In Kosovo, I think we still learn how to deal with this problem. Further recruitment, we need to prevent them, and returnees, we need to provide the radicalization. But these ideas will remain anyway. We need to fight them. So, this is the battle of our generation, and we should not leave this to other generations. As we could see, we still lack ideas, strategies, proper actions, how to deal with this problem. Foreign fighter phenomenon related to Syria started in 2012, and the region, after the 3 years, we still lack solutions. All of us here, professionals in this hall, bear the responsibility to deal with this problem. Yesterday, we remembered the great Nick Pratt. So on behalf of his legacy, on behalf of our future and the future of our future generations, I will just say, let's act. So thank you for your attention.